Israel was one of the first of 145 nations to sign the 1951 United Nations Convention on Refugees, which obligates countries to make the asylum application process accessible and humane to those in life-threatening situations. Israel wants to force out thousands of African migrants over the next 3 months and are threatening to jail those who stay. About 38,000 migrants who entered the country illegally, mainly Eritreans and Sudanese, will receive a plane ticket and $3,500 to leave or face arrest. The UN is calling for an alternative solution to be found. Joining me now on the phone from Jerusalem to discuss this issue is journalist Robert Berger. Robert, welcome to Africa 54.
Good to be with you.
Yes, now everybody is kind of wondering why, particularly this time, what is it that has happened in Israel that makes Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, want these migrants out?
Well, there are, as you said, about 40,000 of these migrants here. They began coming about 10 years ago, and there's a number of reasons that the Israelis want them out. A lot of them live in South Tel Aviv, and that area has deteriorated quite a bit since the Africans moved in. There's growing crime. Some Israelis have been attacked. People feel that their property values have gone down. So there's economic reasons, for one. And two, Israel says that it was created as a refuge for the Jewish people, and it can't be a refuge for economic migrants coming from Africa.
But of course, there's also that particular international agreement that if people run into your country and they're running from something, you have an obligation to help them. Jews themselves have, in the past, had to be refugees elsewhere. What is the reaction at home?
Yes, indeed. I mean, it is a moral dilemma. The critics in Israel are pointing to exactly that, Jews, especially during World War II, fled to other countries. They were turned away. And so there's a feeling among many Israelis that Jews do have an obligation to help people like these Africans who mostly fled war in Eritrea and Sudan. On the other hand, I would say on the other side of it, there are those who are not at all happy about these people coming here. Again, as I mentioned, the growing crime and the feeling that Israel simply can't take in. Israel is created as a Jewish state, and it can't, open its doors wide to poor people, poverty-stricken people from Africa. That's not what the purpose of the Jewish state is.
There is this suggestion that they could be given asylum in other countries in Europe, particularly instead of being sent back to Africa. Is Israel warming up to that?
Well, what the Israelis are saying is that they had a deal with Rwanda and Uganda to take in these people. They're going, I think you mentioned, to give them $3,500 and a plane ticket out, but now Uganda and Rwanda are saying, well, we never made such a deal. So there are attempts by the UN and others to try and find third countries that might take these people. I think the Israelis would be delighted if Europe or anyone else would be willing to take the people in. But as you know, Europe is flooded with refugees. There's really not a whole lot of places for these people to go. The UN is saying that it's not safe to send them back to Africa.
Oh, well, Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's journalist Robert Berger reporting from Jerusalem.